As soon as the player is launched into their first night, they're immediately greeted by the character known exclusively as Phone Guy.
Hello? Hello?
He begins his somewhat lengthy call by explaining that he worked as a night security guard in that same office before you.
I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact.
He assures you that there is nothing to worry about and you should just focus on getting through your first week on the job. Phone Guy says that the animatronics get a bit quirky at night, the first hint that the situation may not be as it seems. He gives a brief mention to the bite of 87, from which the player can only assume that an animatronic, the same type of animatronics you are trapped with, bit out somebody's frontal lobe. Then, at 2 a.m., he reveals the unsettling fact that the animatronic characters roam the building at night.
So just be aware, the characters do tend to wander a bit.
Phone Guy explains that if you are found by the animatronic characters, they won't recognize you as a human, but an animatronic's endoskeleton out of its suit. Therefore, because this is a breach of the rules, they will then attempt to forcibly stuff you into a Freddy Fazbear suit, killing you in the process. He gives some gruesome details of what would probably happen to the player, and then finishes up his first call saying the first day should be easy. He tells you to check the cameras and close the doors only when absolutely necessary in order to conserve your power.
Once the player manages to make it to night 2, the phone will ring again. It's a relief to hear Phone Guy's slightly awkward voice. He congratulates the player for making it to night 2, then says that the animatronics become increasingly more active throughout the week. Phone Guy uses this short message to give some tips he has learned during his time on the job. He recommends that the player check the cameras and to keep track of the animatronic characters. He explains that your door lights reveal a crucial blind spot in the camera system, which happen to be right outside of your doors. And then he mentions that the character in Pirate Cove becomes more active when the camera is off for sustained periods of time. After this explanation of the situation, Phone Guy ends the second call. The player makes it through night 2, and the third call comes in. In this third call, Phone Guy notes that most people don't last this long into the job. He unconvincingly says that he's not implying others died. He also mentions that this is the night where things start to get real. Every other night, Phone Guy has said that there is nothing to worry about. This is the first night he actually acknowledges the danger the player is in. He proposes an idea of playing dead if the animatronics find you, but quickly dismisses it as a stupid idea. He ends the call saying, "See you on the flip side." Night 4. Phone Guy breaks from his usual calm behavior, sounding worried about the current situation he's in. It's better just to listen to this call.
Oh, hey, wow, day 4. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you. So when I did, hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no.
This is the last real call. The next call is just a nonsensical speech that one can only assume is from an animatronic.
The decision to have the tutorial in the form of training tapes is very creative and ended up working quite well. It's surprising to me not many games of the time had thought to teach a player this way, if any. With this choice, it doesn't seem like the game developer trying to teach you how to play the game, but more like a company trying to teach a new employee how to do their job. Something that greatly increases the immersion of Five Nights at Freddy's. Something about the way Phone Guy is utilized in order to teach the player, give backstory, and indicate the difficulty of each night is an excellent move. Coupled with the voice acting and awkward humor of Scott Cawthon, Phone Guy is one of the best tutorial characters to ever be created. But Phone Guy's genius doesn't necessarily lie in his character, but in the way Scott uses his character. In the first couple sentences of Phone Guy's first call, he is immediately established as the character with experience, the one who's going to show you the ropes. The player and Phone Guy are stuck in the exact same boat, something that only strengthens the connection between the player and Phone Guy. He's the only friendly character for the long, stressful nights. But everything gets turned on its head when, on night 4, Phone Guy is murdered. The man who had accompanied the player through the horrors of the pizzeria, the man who taught the player how to survive, is dead. Much as Phone Guy served as the game's way to teach the player the mechanics, Phone Guy's death serves as the game's way of telling the player that the game is about to step up in difficulty. And it is this indirect indication that you're in for one bad time is why I really love Phone Guy. Never before had I experienced the same type of fear in a game. How difficult must it get if the man who had been doing this at his job for weeks, months, maybe even years, can't handle it anymore? It's the horror of what happened to him, the thought of what happened to the other workers, and the fear of what might happen to you Phone Guy creates that makes him so great. Well, thank you, Isaac.
You're welcome. I hunger.